Hey there, folks. This is the Nitty Gritty Real Estate Podcast. We are on episode 46, talking about the fact or fiction of home buying. Let's get into it. All right, Jilly baby. So, fact or fiction on home buying.
All right.
We have both been working with buyers and we've been successful in getting some deals closed. We've also had a lot of disappointment with our buyers who've been losing out. But we want to dig in on this episode for people who are thinking about buying. What are some of the fact or fictions that we've been hearing? So I want to get your input on this, okay? Number one, should I wait until the market changes / crashes?
I hear that one all the time.
Right.
My answer is no, don't wait. What we're seeing is that, the market is just increasing. Now, granted, it's slowed down, eased up. We can't keep up with the chaos that we've, the madness we've had.
Yeah.
But it's still increasing. So it's a great time to buy because you're getting in, and over the next few years, you're just going to be able to ride that equity up. So everybody who remembers that market crash that happened, 2008, they're expecting it to happen again.
Yeah.
And I can't say it enough. It's a totally different climate right now. This increase was caused by...
we can say it, COVID.
Okay, fine, COVID. It was caused by, really COVID did shut everything down. People were afraid to list their homes. They were afraid to have people in their homes. So then people who needed homes had very little to pick from and had to compete over that. We're seeing things open back up. We're seeing people they've adapted to this new way of life that's probably honestly going to be around for a little while. And that has led to more houses coming on the market, which has slowed the prices. It's slowed the competitiveness. Great news for buyers. You don't have to give up as much. You don't have to be willing to sacrifice as much to get into a house. You've got more choices, but still good news for sellers because market's still going up.
Yeah, absolutely. So with these buyers who are still on the fence, they're still thinking about waiting, they're still going to think that things are going to crash and change and they're going to pick up those deals. When the interest rate changes, and it will change because they cannot keep it as low as 3% as an average, or even lower in some cases for some particular buyers, when that market rate changes and increases back up again, and let's just use, for instance, 4 or 4.5%, which is where we kind of roughly were in 2018, 2019. What's that going to mean to buyers versus buying now at 3% and buying in a year or two at 4 to 4.5%? What's going to happen?
Well, so that's what, right before this, we were discussing this. Interest rate plays a huge role in your purchasing power. And a lot of people don't, I think, realize that. You think a percent, not that big a difference. Well, we were looking at some numbers here. If you were to purchase a $300,000 house at 3% down, your standard, 3% interest rate, your standard 20% down, you're looking at a payment of $1,265 a month. Okay. You bump that interest rate up, same conditions, bump the interest rate up to 4%, you're now looking at $1,400 a month.
That's $200 a difference.
Yeah, that's, almost, $200 a month difference. Well, so if you buy now, you're saving yourself $200 a month. You can put that towards, towards a car, or put that towards, some upgrades you want in your house, versus, waiting, that interest rate goes up. You don't have as much purchasing power.
Yeah. And also, to be honest as well, that $300,000 home today at 3% is what you said, $1,265. In a year's time, let's just fast forward 12 months and let's say the interest rate goes to 4% in 12 months' time, that $300,000 home is not going to be $300,000 anymore.
Nope, it's not.
It's going to have increased. That could be $315, $320, $330. So not only is your payment going up because of the rate change, it's actually going to be even higher because the price of the home has changed.
Correct.
So people who are thinking and waiting, you may be running into a double-edged sword with a higher interest rate and higher property values, which means your purchase power goes
down. I was going to say, that's a great way to put it, because you're competing with two things. Our market prices are going up, and we know, like you said, interest rates can't stay low like this. They were basically made low to help, counteract the effects of this pandemic, but they can't stay that way. We've got to raise them some because of inflation.
Yeah.
Not just because the bank wants more money.
Yeah.
I mean, it all has a domino effect. And so that's got to happen. So if you're looking at purchasing, or if you're thinking about it, now's the time to get with a real estate agent in your area. And again, I mean, we're here in Tucson. If you're outside of Tucson, we can certainly set you up with somebody who's, a great knowledgeable agent on your particular market. But get with an agent, talk to them. Worst case you're going to find out is maybe it is better for you personally to wait 3 months, but you can put a plan in place.
Hey everyone, we want to interrupt this episode to let you know that we are a Keller Williams Southern Arizona franchise.
Also, we are licensed realtors practicing equal housing.
Now, let's get you back to the podcast.
Yeah. And that's huge. And, we have conversations with buyers all day long, every day. And we're just a funnel of getting them market data, because we have this data, home prices and stuff like that. But quite honestly, the next step for us is to connect them with one of our preferred lenders who do the real digging into the numbers and do the whole down payment, purchase price, how much you can afford, interest rate. And they're the ones that gives us the number. We often talk to our buyers of, don't focus on the home price, focus on what you want to pay per month.
Right.
Because a $300,000 home may break you monthly. If we focus on your monthly payment, that actually gives us a true representation of what we should go shopping for.
Correct.
And that all ties in with that interest rate.
It all ties in. And, I have people all the time, they're like, well, I want to pay about $1,200 a month. What can I get? I can't answer that question for them, because what they can get depends on what type of loan they're going to use, what type of down payment they have, what their credit score is. Those are all questions for a lender.
Yeah.
So it really is a team effort, us helping them negotiate and finding a house, but a lender helping us target in on the right home, price for them.
Yeah, and that's why pre-qualification, connecting with a lender, is the second thing to do after you find an amazing realtor like us.
That's true.
And then we connect with a lender, and then we go shopping.
Absolutely.
So, number one, don't wait until the market changes.
Correct.
Act now, act soon, because it's in your favor.
Absolutely.
Number two, rates will make a very, very, very big difference.
They'll make a huge difference.
If you don't believe us, sit on your hands and then come and talk to us in 12 months when your rate's gone up.
That's true. I mean, we're projecting an increase, up to about 1% in the next, quarter two of 2022. So it's going to make a difference. It's
going to make a huge difference. So then, what about home selling over asking price? Buyers are having to pay over asking price to buy a home these days. Is that going to change? Is that going to stay the same? What do you think is going on there?
We are seeing that, like I said, ease up. Whereas this summer when people were coming in to buy houses, I really had to temper expectations. If they wanted to buy a $300,000 house, we needed to look under $300,000. I'm not seeing that as much. Houses still, on average, we found are going about 6 out of 10 of them are going for over list price. But I would say, honestly, in our Tucson market, if it's priced accurately, it's staying right at that price. And then the other thing is, looking at the houses that have been on the market for a little bit. It could mean, it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with it. Could mean that they overpriced it.
Yep.
Could mean that, advertising and marketing on it wasn't, top notch. So don't be afraid to look at those homes too. If you're really trying to stay budget conscious, there can be some great homes out there.
Yeah, I think that's such a great plan, is if you've got buyers who have a certain budget, you should be shopping just under it. Because most likely in instances, we're going to have to come up to the maximum of their budget to win a house.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I don't want to have happen is somebody falls in love with a house and then we end up having to bump up over and then they can't afford the house. That doesn't do anybody any favors. Sellers get excited, think they're going to get an offer. Buyers get excited, think they're getting this great house. So we, sometimes have to set a little more realistic expectation just so that we can meet it and people aren't disappointed.
Yeah. And, big shout out to a good friend of mine, Robert Mack. He actually put a video out last week, which was awesome. So congrats to him, where he was talking about, and it's a great point that I want to touch on, is when we're looking at homes, and let's say, for instance, we're looking at a home that is $300,000, the buyers have fallen in love with it, their budget is probably $300,000, but they could probably squeeze up to about $320,000, that kind of thing. I think what's important to speak to with buyers is, well, listen, you know, we've got to go over to win this deal, right? We've got to make the offer as clean as we can. It's a competitive property, so let's write at 310 or 320. But I think what's important is to dial down to and be like, what does 320 do to your monthly payment? And when you run those numbers, and again, you connect back with the lender, and they'll probably give you an average of, you know, for $10,000, you know, at X rate, it's an extra $50 a month, let's say.
Right.
So looking at that, going 20,000 over, that's an extra $100 a month. You have to say to your buyers, can you afford that $100 a month for your dream home? Yes or no? Because $20,000 over
sounds daunting.
It's really daunting.
Yeah.
But like $30, $40, $50 a month extra on your payment to get this amazing house, is it worth it? And a lot of the times they'll be like, what is $50 a month? It's 5 Starbucks.
Right.
It's not going out for dinner once a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we get rid of Hulu and all that sort of stuff and just stick with like whatever it is. Like you can
Right.
break down $50 easier than you can wrap your mind around $20,000 over
Yes,
asking.
absolutely.
And I think that's super important. And Rob brought that up in his video the other day, and I was like, that is such good point to bring up. Now we talk about that, but I don't think people in general think like that.
No, they don't. And I think kind of going back to what you're saying, connecting with the lender, they can break it down for you, you know, 300, 310, 320. You can see the differences there. And it really isn't, especially, again, because these interest rates are so low. Now, if you're watching our podcast, you know, and it's 2 years later and we've got interest rates up at 7%, yeah, it's going to make a little bit bigger difference
You'd
there.
wish you bought back in 2021, trust me.
Yes.
This is like 2025 and interest rates at 8%. You wish you bought today.
You will. Absolutely be kicking yourself.
So great stuff. So just to recap, wait till the market changes. We don't think it's not going to crash.
Not changing anytime soon.
Exactly. The rate will make a difference.
Absolutely.
100%. And homes selling over asking, they are continued to sell at asking or over, but we just got to break down the numbers and see what it looks like.
Right. Absolutely. Still completely doable. You just get yourself a great agent who can explain, help you, you know, take this through step by step.
Awesome. Great information. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions about buying a home, what rates look like, all that sort of stuff, anything we've covered today, please feel free to reach out to us. We are local here in Tucson, but we have agents in every city and every state across the nation. So please feel free to connect with us and we'll connect you with somebody local to you. Great episode. Thank you, Jill. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Hey, thank you for listening and watching the Nitty Gritty podcast here with the Tom J. Krieger team. If you are thinking about buying a home, selling a home, or even investing in real estate, please reach out to us. We are local here in Tucson, Arizona, but we are also connected to over 4,000 agents across the US. So again, looking to buy, sell, or invest in your hometown, reach out to us and let us connect you.